A budget review. This set did surprise me, not gonna lie. I was waiting for the tier element set, and now this one is out, which I'm not complaining about. Let's see what this set can do. Let's see if you should be buying the set. Let's see if this set is something to be excited about, or if this one is hot garbage. I can already see like it's more of a, well, legacy support, I want to say, in a sense. It's more of reprints and cards that like have been added to the TCG and OCG a long time ago, but now found their way into Master Duel. And I can already see one thing that I'm gonna get a bit annoyed about, because I've seen this during the later sets that Konami actually released, and this one is that lots of the cards that come out for decks that were originally somewhat cheap are now all ultra rares. Like, best example here is the Witchcrafter cards, the fusion spell that should, in my opinion, not have been an ultra rare. It's super rare, maybe can discuss this, but both of these cards are ultra rares now, and that is because they've realized, oh wait, our decks are actually way too cheap. We can like, people can play lots of different decks without ever spending real money on this game, and now all the support for like older decks is insanely expensive in comparison to what the cards should be. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the cards I can understand that the fusion is an ultra rare, because the fusion is a boss monster, it's doing lots of stuff for the deck, you don't really need to run 3-offs unless you want to play Pot of Extravagance, and so on and so on and so on. But the fusion itself, I'm not sure. Like, yes, it's a good card and stuff, but I'm very much against these kind of cards being like ultra rares, like super rares at max. And I think there's a theme going on with this. We'll see this later on. I think with the Ancient Warriors as well. You will not get cheaply away with them either. But first of all, let's see budget-wise how much you're getting for this. IP Masquerena, a very, very neat inclusion in this specific set, because they were like, oh, people like Sprite, and what generic Link monster does Sprite need? It's IP Masquerena. So there's a card that you can use for now, but since Sprite Sprint is still going to come out, Sprite should not be getting hit too much yet. Not sure. I mean, eventually they will all get hit. That's the whole point of like investing in a meta deck. These cards will be hit eventually, because otherwise they wouldn't be meta deck, because they are the best deck in the format. With now Ishizu being around, we can debate what is the best stuff and what isn't the best stuff, but yeah, IP Masquerade, a card that's well worth it. We have a reprint of the Mayakashi card. We have the new Mayakashi card, I think, because I don't think this one existed beforehand. It's okay. It's okay for Go second zombie decks. Like, the effect does certain things, and if you use it to climb into the other one, then you get something for it, because this card can also revive certain things. I'm not sure if it's worth an ultra rare. I would have also like classed this more of a super rare, because it isn't the big playmaker. It's kind of more on the level of the Link 2 one in theory, but if you want one of this, then opening this pack won't be too bad. Dynatag, I'll not be talking about these like Doodle Beast and Dyna kind of stuff, because in general dinosaur decks are way too expensive. You can probably make a deck work somewhat that isn't too expensive if you put in some very bad dinosaur stuff, but the good dinosaur stuff is like almost exclusively ultra rares. So I from a budget player's point, dinosaurs just like died at the very start. They are extinct, not only in real life but also to me, so I will not be talking about this. I just know I will, if I open this pack, I will be opening lots of Dynatags and not one of the cards that I want. Already talked about the Witchcrafter card, very nice. If you have already built Witchcrafter, then in theory, I'm not sure if Witchcrafter is the only card that you're going for in here, then I'm not sure you should be opening the set, because you can just craft them and you'll probably get away with just like running 1 or 2 of the fusion spell. Maybe you'll have to like include some other form of polymerization, maybe. There's lots of stuff you can be doing. Obviously this card would be better, but just to invest into this pack for this wouldn't be worth it in my opinion. Very much raw stuff. So if you're a beginner, if you just started up this game and you're like, oh look, there's raw stuff in here, I know this from the anime, why don't I invest in this pack? I wouldn't necessarily say it's a good idea, because most of these cards in this pack seem to be legacy support. It's like support for decks that have already been released, sometimes quite from the start actually, and now there's like additions of like 1 or 2 cards that make the deck a lot better, and there are still cards in here that belong to the deck, but you will not get around actually going into the pack of the specific deck because like with Witchcraft, oh yeah, we have Witchcrafter Hane here, but we still don't have the Witchcrafter Search spell, we don't have Madame Vare in here, we don't have Golem Maruru in here, and so on and so on and so on. So you will still need to open the pack. Yes, you will save some stuff, but then in the on the other hand, if you Jesus Christ, if you open the other pack, then you might get like lots of doubles, and then you lose out on some value at least. And it's good for getting crafting material, but in the end you do lose out on some value. So maybe just look at these cards separately and see if you want to get them, because I think these two have been around as well. I think this card is new. Other than that, you can always just craft these later on anyway. Ancient Warrior, this is a reprint. Common to a good card now. If you're a crawler or flip deck player, Crawler Soma is it's an incredible card. I knew this card was going to be ultra rare, but since crawlers are not expensive at all, especially if you only kind of care about the extra deck monsters, then this card is, well, it's a steal. I'm not sure if you want to be opening this pack if you're just interested in crawlers anyway. This set seemed to have lots of cards for budget decks, which I'm quite happy about, but they're not budget anymore, so I'm not so happy about this. But there will be, if I open this pack, there will be lots of cards that actually support most of my decks, because I've built quite a lot of these decks beforehand, because they used to be kind of cheap, and now I have to find a way to keep them cheap for my future upcoming budget deck profiles, which there will be some. If I look at the set, there will be some, even though I kind of wanted to save my gems for the T-Element deck. Saying this now, if you are into the competitive side of Yu-Gi-Oh! And you want to invest into stuff that's going to be meta shaping, at least, like that can get you a bit further, then this set isn't really the one for you. I would definitely wait for the Tier Element set. Dump your gems into this one, because this right here, not much meta relevance. Yes, there will be some Insector stuff going on. You can possibly play this more consistently and build up insane boards sometimes if you're not disrupted, but these decks fall apart quite easily, and I don't think they play a massive role in the meta game. The dinosaur stuff is neat, but you already need like a whole dinosaur core for this anyway, so if you already have this, maybe, but if not, doesn't really matter. Maya Kashi won't be meta relevant, even though they got 2 new cards, this won't be meta relevant at all. Neither will Ancient Warrior. Ancient Warrior can like very much work as a rogue deck, especially with the consistency being boosted now with the new cards, but I don't think it's gonna be super crazy. So if this set is more for people that already built these decks because they were budget decks and because they like the playstyle, and now they realized, oh look, there's new cards, and there's new cards for all of these decks, so I'll just get this one then, and like get rid of some of the other cards that already have doubles of, like Hane, for example. If you have Witchcrafters already, then you don't really want to be seeing any Hanes, because this isn't even a 3-off in the deck. So there's that. Same kind of for like Time Thief Double Barrel. If you already have Time Thieves, then that makes very, very little sense. Skipping over some of the cards because they are reprints or because I really don't care about them, like good old Dynabase. Might be an okay card. It's still a super rare, and I don't think this will be any kind of deck that I'm playing, because the Doodle Beasts already, it's an ultra rare. This one is a super rare. Like, I don't see myself playing them at all. Warrock stuff is in here. Yay, rejoice, Warrock players. This exists. Time Thief, Temporal Whale is in here as well. Is it a card that works? Is it a card that needed to be super rare? Is it a card that like makes the deck like a lot stronger? It's okay. It's not, I don't think it's amazing. Like, it's not something like I feel like the Witchcrafter card, for example, actually like changes stuff about Witchcrafter. The Crawler card massively changes stuff about crawlers. This card is a nice to have, but it's not like changing crazy stuff. Even the Ancient Warrior stuff is crazy enough for the deck, because it actually does quite a lot of stuff. Then we have some like generic stuff in here, like the Flame Buddy, like Grand Tusk Dragon, which will have its usages, but that's not why you buy the packs. That's not usually what you're trying to get out of these packs. We do have some of the dinosaur stuff in here with Super Evolution, Double Evolution Pill. Yeah, it's still not enough. Like, there still needed to be a lot more dinosaur cards in here to say like, oh yeah, if you want to work on a playable dinosaur core, then you can buy this pack to do so, because yeah, doesn't really do anything. And we have the new Insector card from the make your own card creation contest, where people were like, oh yes, Insector needs a new support card in comparison to Lightsworns. Still a bit salty about that one, but I'll get over it. And then we have some other generic kind of cards that do stuff, Doodle Book stuff, that even the Trap is a super rare, so you can see My massive disappointment with this one, absolutely massive. For the for the rares and the normal rares, I'll not even go into them because this is stuff you should be able to craft regardless. Even if there's stuff in here, yeah, it's nice to have, but you're not going to be struggling to get them anyway because you get so many gems. Even if you are a beginner, even if you just joined the game, trust me, within like a few days of playing, you'll have so many normal rares and rare rares that you will be easily crafting most kind of decks that you want to be playing. So this isn't too bad if you look at the stuff that's in here for now. But we'll still have a little scroll through. We have like Mega Low Smasher X in here, yay, great. World Legacy and Shadows, obviously, Crawler stuff, Insector stuff, nothing really interesting. There might be some new cards, but I don't think they have actually put out any new cards that aren't super rares or ultra rares. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's any card in here that is new that isn't a high rarity card, then I super apologize to Konami, but didn't spot one when I looked through this set earlier. So in the end, my the end result remains: buy this set if you already have invested in each of those decks, like Crawler, like Witchcrafter, like Time Thief even, I guess, like Mayakashi. That's roundabout Ancient Warrior, obviously, and that's roundabout like the big ones. Insector, technically, if you already have this, but you can easily just craft the 3 super rares. That's not, I don't think that's worth going into the set for, because I think that's the only new support card, so it doesn't really matter too much. If you have none of these decks, kind of pointless going into it. Just open their packs and craft the cards that you need, because otherwise you will be dumping lots of gems into lots of decks that you don't really care about, honestly. This is my budget review, and there will be budget decks coming out soon, maybe even today, maybe within the next few days. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, would make my day, but hopefully you have a nice day yourself.